Good afternoon, dear viewers, and welcome back to another live session with GETI, or Global Education and Training Institute. I'm your host, Preena Arora, and today I have with me Miss Ashoka Beera. She is the CEO of Noble Palm International School and Noble Palm Skills School. Ms. Ashoka is a life member of ECA and APER India. She is a lifetime professional member of Institute of Scholars, and she is recognized as a reviewer for International Journal of Management and Social Studies. Ms. Ashoka is an experienced school leader with a demonstrated history of working in the education management industry, and she passionately facilitates webinars for teachers and educators, enabling them to mentor each other to unlearn and relearn. Miss Ashoka is a continuous learner, and talking about her qualifications, academic qualifications, she has done her master's in biological sciences, bachelor's and master's in education, and in arts education. Well, today she is going to talk about top skills that an instructional designer must have. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am, on this platform of GETI. And I would request you to please enlighten us, throw some light what exactly we are going to know. We're going to learn from you about instructional designing. So I would request you to please take over the session.
Thank you very much, Brina, for a good introduction and telling about what I am and what I'm going to talk. And hello to all the listeners and all the attendees of the session. A warm welcome to this session of a good educative information. Hope we will have a nice session with lots of information about the topic, the skills that an instructional designer must have. Instructional designers, who are they? Actually, what do they do? That's what we need to do. Can we have this?
Ma'am, would you, if you want to share your PPT, you can do that. I would request you to please share your presentation that you have prepared.
I'm doing it. Is it not going? Yes.
No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Please share.
Is the screen
Yes, ma'am.
Is it visible? So can I go ahead?
Yes, ma'am. It's visible. Yes, ma'am. You can continue.
Yes. So this is I'm starting the presentation. The top skills an instructional designer must have. This is the topic that I'm going to share, give some knowledge and some light on this skills. Okay. Now, what are this designers? What do they do? What exactly do they do? Instructional designers. That is, these are the what is instruction? Instruction is something what is about which will promote a teaching and learning activities. So, instructional materials means it is used as a process of instruction. So, they will refer these instructional designers will these materials what we can refer to them as are human and non-human materials also, and they will they are used to ease and encourage and improve the and promote teaching. So these materials are used in learning and teaching. So what are the types we can categorize them as are textbooks, pamphlets, handouts, study guides, manuals, which are print materials, the audio materials like cassettes, microphones, podcasts, And the visual like photographs and transparencies, which are used in slides making and glass slides, and audiovisual slides like audiovisuals like slides, tapes, films, film strips, television, video, and multimedia, and other materials like electronic interactives like computers, graphic calculators, and tablets. So these are all the materials what we are using regularly with us. Traditional sources like these textbooks and workbooks, they are useful tools for introducing new concepts, and the students may find difficult while they learn for themselves. So, when the students are face to face in the classroom, or when the listeners are face to face, and the audience are face to face, then the instructor can observe the engagement. It will be easy for them to see if the students are viewing the lecture, listening to the lecture, taking notes, showing any other signs of attentiveness. But that's not the case in an online setup. So when we talk about the instructions, we are referring to any course material that the students are using as a vehicle for going from unfamiliarity to familiarity, though it is in the face to face or where it is in the online case also. But online has got certain backdrops than the face to face learning. So online, we cannot see the students. That means it is important that the structure of the material has to be such a way that we have to keep the students' attention. Assessments again will show how well the students have done on the in the online classes. How, if they have paid attention to the instructional material or not, we can understand. That is through the assessments. But instruction material, when we are giving the instruction or in an online class, it's very difficult for us to understand. So to keep their attention, we need to frame the instructional material very well so that students will understand everything. So it has to be designed very well. So first, let us understand what is curriculum development and what is instructional design. Now, these two terms are so very related. Sometimes you think they are same and similar and they are synonymous. I understand that curriculum development is what the students will learn, and the instructional design is how the students will learn. The instructional designers will therefore have to collaborate with the subject matter experts. They'll have to design and often develop the learning experience. But the instructional designers don't deliver the content as the subject matter experts deliver to the audience. The instructional designers will depend on they spend most of their time in meetings for framing the content, helping the faculty members, and then they convert the courses so that it will be face to face for the online offering. They will also help the faculty to maintain their whatever courses they have, existing courses they have. Even that also they will help the faculty to maintain it to be very well presented to the audience and students. So, to present these online instructional material, instructional designers will use certain systems like LMS, which are, for example, like the Blackboard and the Canvas. So, if anybody wants to become an instructional designer, let's learn how we can become an instructional designer, what skills they'll have to have, what techniques they have to use, what technologies they'll have to learn. So now we have come to learn or view or talk about how to become an instructional designer in the year 2021. This year, because 2 years we have been having this virtual classes, webinars. The children were also listening from home. So in these times, what the teachers were using in the classrooms, in the for brick and mortar classrooms, it was entirely different. Now, when they were using the on Zoom or any other for platforms, they faced lots of difficulties. So now they'll have to design again to understand how the children will learn. So they had to become a digitally transformed learners, and then they had to present it to the students. So instructional designers, what they help is they help in creating effective, engaging learning experiences. They draw the best practices from the education, design, and psychology, systems theory, and creative writing, because they will write e-learning material, face-to-face workshops, content. They help in job aids, and they help in other performances of the support solutions. So instructional design is almost like a interdisciplinary by nature. So many so many subjects, or so many other products they'll have to use to deliver a design for a content. So the key responsibilities of an instructional designer will be that they'll have to concentrate, they'll have to view, they'll have to get help in planning and analysis. They'll have to design and structure. They'll have to collaborate with subject matter experts. They have to use multimedia tools. They'll have to implement and implementation of all this, and then management of all this. They'll have to. So these are all these are the steps they'll have to cater to while they are designing the instructional material. Here are the top skills an instructional designer must need. First important one is creativity. First topmost is what is creativity. That is what I think. Why creativity? Because they'll have to think outside the box. They'll have to design it so very well that it is attractive. It has to be taken by the as soon as they view it, or as soon as they start it, they'll have to pick that material, and they'll have to continue reading, or continue to learn it. So they need to be able to look into the content, and they'll have to find new and exciting ways to present the information to the audience. So these instructional designers will have to understand a lot of the psychology of the audience or the students to design the material. Making the information more visually stimulating will help the audience interact better with the information and use the information to change their behavior. The teachers or the presenters or the and the audience, most of us are all have fallen into the category of baby boomers and generation X and Y and generation Z. If you separate the generation Z, the baby boomers and the X and Y audience generations, they have started to unlearn and relearn. But Generation Z are very, very smart. They understand very well. So to cater to their needs of this instructional material, the designer will have to hold their attention. They'll have to design it very creatively, because they think very rationally, and they think very financially also. They are very, very understand everything in a very critical way. So they are critical thinkers. So to make the design very, very creatively is the only option that the designers have. So they'll have to have games and interactive activities, which will keep the audience engaged and help them retain the material. So being able to provide a variety of activities will be very, very helpful to create the training material for the coming generations. Next skill that they should have is communication skill. Instructional designers need to be able to to say a lot of things with using a few words. They need to know how to draw the audience to continue the education and remember the content of the education. They'll have to select words and put them together to bring an impact on the overall education itself. So they have to have a good grammar, punctuation, and writing skills, and it will so that they can ensure that the correct message comes across to the audience. So communication skills are very, very important. Again, the second step, and the next step that they have to be strong in their skills are research skills. These instructional designers, they need to be able to reach to the newest systems and incorporate them into the education. All the everyday research or everyday new information is being added. So all this they'll have to sort out and then put them incorporate them into the education learning material. Now, so how do the learners learn? They'll have to understand what activities have to be given to increase the retention and critical thinking. They'll have to understand about all that. So they'll have to do a lot of research. They'll have to understand a lot about the audience, and then they'll have to keep themselves updated so that they can keep the audience also updated. So being a good researcher can ensure that the education they create is consistent with what is going on into the instructional design world and can be the most effective one for the audience. So instructional designer can also research the audience inside the organization itself to ensure that the audience has their needs met throughout the training. So if we want to be an instructional designer, we want to have these skills of creativity, communication skills, and research skills. And then we'll add some more skills, people skills. Instructional designers, they need to be comfortable around the people, and they have to know how to converse with others to get the content that they need to build. So they'll have to keep observing what people are wanting, what is the society understanding about the new information, how they are using, what terms they are using. They'll have to understand what research is going on. They'll have to understand. So they'll have to be socializing with more and more people. Being able to ask right questions and understand what is being said can help the instructional designer to connect with the material and the subject matter experts. So that a continuous material flow will be there, a smoothness will be there. So a connectivity will be there of understanding. When the connectivity is there, then it won't be like, it won't be, if there's a gap in between, nobody will be wanting to go further, and they just drop that. Understanding body language, tone, wordings can help the instructional designers get the correct message to be put into the training material. Well, of course, time management is very, very important. Time management skills. Instructional designers need to have a good time management because they will be on many projects. So when they are on many projects, suppose one project has to be the deadline has to be met, then how to go about that? Supposing there are some glitches, then how to manage the break in time in between. So they'll have to know very well how to manage. They'll have to have a very good concept of what is which instructional material is going which in which. So they'll have to have a great insight about what is good for which organization. And then they'll have to be having a flexibility also. That is, if they're having any gap in between, any project is there, if their project should be there one after the other, they'll have to continue. So that flexibility also will help these instructional designers. So these instructional designers are, since it is a booming business now, because of the these online classes, webinars going on a lot in the uh, studies schools. There are a lot of instructional designers over here, and these 6 tips about what I have told just now, they'll help them to ensure that they have to hire someone who is a good on the job, and then they can continue in your organization. So for your organization to go forward. So these skills are to be there, to be uh, these skills are the ones they'll have to master. And learning instructional designers, they'll have to even learn the design theories. They'll have to learn the principles and methodologies also. The designs are ID model, diagnose 9 events instruction, action mapping, behaviorism, cognitive information processing, Kirkpatrick Patrick model of evaluation, Myers principles of multimedia learning. We all the teachers, all in the instruction field, know about all these designs. Now, I would ID model is a very simple one. Every one who is new to the instructional design will have to talk. Will have to follow ADDIE model. So ADDIE model is ADDIE is an acronym which is for analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation. I'll talk about this a little in depth about this model. Gardner's design 9 events is what we usually use for this lesson planning, where we say what is how to capture learner's attention, how to inform the learner, what they will gain when the instruction is given to them, what will prompt the learner to pull the from the prior knowledge, and what content presentation is, and how to provide a guidance, and how to the application, what is to be, how where the knowledge has to be applied, and what is the feedback to be given immediately. These all these we are following. So then the next methodology or design that they'll have to understand is action mapping. Action mapping is mostly for corporate offices, where the subject matter experts and the leaders think about the employees, what they have to, what they should understand. And behaviorism, cognitive information processing, and these are all the ones what they'll have to understand. But I have something more to talk about, so I'm going to this model here. This ID model is a generic model. This model has where analysis, evaluation development. This is a linear model. This is more of a linear model where each one is each step is revised and then carried forward. And I would like to give present to you one more model, which is a Kemp design model. This model is more of a circular structure, not a linear one. This circularity is achieved by viewing the 9 core elements of the model as interdependent rather than singular and interdependent. So let's just see the model first. This is how the model is. It is circular, it is interdependent, all the contents of them are interdependent. This model is very useful for online classes, for online deliveries of the instructions material. That's why this model is more being researched and more being uh, taken into consideration. So this model, Kemp design model, allows the instructional designers a significant degree of flexibility because they are able to begin the design process with any of the 9 components and or the stages. Anywhere they can start rather than considering from rather how it is there is a constraint in the linear fashion, but here from anywhere they can start and then they can just go forward. So here I would like to wrap up by saying that instructional design technology also has to be an important skill for the instructional designers. The core tech that one should grasp as an instructional designer are all these techniques they'll have to learn, understand: articulate storyline, articulate rise 360, Adobe Illustrator, Adobe XD, TechSmith Snagit, TechSmith Camtasia, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Vion, and all the learning management systems. For example, Canvas. So the instructional designer will have to not only have the skills of creativity, communication, time management, people skills, they'll have to also understand a lot of technology also. So the content developer will frame the content, but with the subject expertise there, but the instructional designer will have to give a support to that content. So instructional designer's job is work is his position or her position is very important in for the content to be presented very well and student to become understand the content and become a good developer, project management, or in understand the subject and understand, become a critical thinker. So I hope I have brought in the what all I could have thought of sharing.
Thank you so
Can I,
much, ma'am.
yeah, can I stop sharing?
Yes, ma'am, you can.
Yes.
Well, as we all know, the situation right now from past 2 years because of this pandemic, we all are connected through online classes because campuses were forced to close because of this only. So students are connected, through online classes, this virtual environment, and somewhere the schools or the colleges were not really ready with the course to be converted in online classes. That's where the challenge was faced by most of the teachers and people out there in education fraternity. And I think this is where the demand of instructional designers actually rise rapidly. The way you explained about how they are actually helpful, they are the saviors in this time when these courses can actually be converted into online platform. So that's very much important. And if anybody is willing to be a part of, is willing to be an instructional designer, can definitely go through the details and tips shared by Ma'am Ashoka. That were all tips we should have, the six pointers, especially that you have to be creative, you should have good communication skills. She talked about the flexibility also. So, the pandemic meant that everything was online. Institutions where they were not prepared to convert the courses into online, there the instructional designers were uh, helpful. They were a solution to this problem, and these courses can be converted by these experts. So that's very much important. I think overall it was a fantastic session where we know that teachers are very much skilled. If we talk about their subject, with their subject, they are very much expert. But then again, when it comes to the online thing, I think most of the teachers were not really easy and they were not really comfortable with the online classes. That's what we observed. But then we can never forget that they tried their level best to make their classes successful. So, yes, thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your thoughts and these tips about instructional designing, who they are exactly. I mean, they are somewhere working at the back end, but they are the saviors. That's what I feel at this time of pandemic.
Yes.
What do you say?
Yes. Yes, truly, very truly, because they are the backbone. They are not unseen, but they
Yes.
have to be supported by for the content designers, subject experts. They have a subject
Okay.
expert. They are, have got lots of subject, but how to present it is these instructional designers will have to
Instructional
come
design.
in.
So can we call them the heat warriors, the unsung, the way we say it, who are not really? No, we can say they are the warriors who are working,
Yeah, they
on
could
the
come in hand
backstage.
because unless they are there side by side, they cannot have the study cannot go. The
Right.
classrooms cannot exist unless they are side by side. So I think this virtual world or virtual happenings times has helped us to
Yes.
understand more and more, and the necessity people have to be there. People have to be
Hmm.
there to be, everyone cannot do everything. So
Yes.
one well, there's, the burden should be shared by everyone. So that's what I
Yes.
felt.
People also agree that they play a very crucial role, and leading students in person, assisting them in the classes, physically in the classes is a different thing. But dealing them virtually, it requires a different approach for the teachers as well. And so ultimately, instructional designers are a critical component, for preparing in
Yeah.
this new normal, because we don't know when this will stop, when the schools will open, when we'll be free to move out to be in schools. The kids, if I talk about, they don't know when is this phase is going to end. We have no clue. So I think this is the right time when the schools, the companies, and in fact the individuals, they can prepare for future and they can be ready with the, they can help the schools as an individual, or the schools can hire people who can help them with their course structure to be converted into online classes.
Yes.
So
True.
overall, it was a fantastic session, very informative, very important as well. So thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us today, and sharing your thoughts on this
Yes.
particular topic. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so
And
much.
thanks. Yes,
Thank you,
ma'am.
Katie, for giving the platform to view my information to the audience.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much. Pleasure is all ours. Thank you, all the viewers for joining in. So stay safe, take care. We'll be back soon with another session. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye.